Hey guys, and welcome to an epic undead scrap. Yes, we have two undead forces facing off against each other. On the left hand side we have the Vampire Coast led by Bode Il Bubba up against Bajark and his Vampire Count legions. Should be a good fun scrap. We've got some interesting builds to say the least, and that means I am very excited to delve into this. The Vampire Count leadership certainly does look extreme, and we get a big fiery boy himself in the form of the rather nasty Gallows giant, so I'm happy to see this in action. And we actually have a melee rush vampire style of play. Traditionally, these bad boys are known for their long-range pressure, loads of cannons, and you just kind of chuck chaff at the enemy and grind them down, but not that today, no sirree. We still do have a load of chaff in the front line, in the form of zombie pirate deckhand mobs, but that's about it. On the flanks, we do have some pole arms, but then it starts to get all nice, elite, and juicy. We have double Crabos, rotten Promethean gunnery mobs, one of which is the Lamprey's Revenge, a Regiment Renowned variety, which does have regeneration, and is one of the stickiest units in the entire game, both metaphysically, both theoretically, and actuality as well, if that's a word. Everything. They're sticky in all regards. We do have the bloody Reavers in the back, who look fearsome. Fun fact of the day, this is Raptor's favourite unit. He is someone who's been watching and supporting the channel for quite some time, so hopefully he will get a kick out of seeing these guys in action. They have Enrage to give them a nice 40% damage resistance. Very decent anti-large troop, but are incredibly expensive. Luckily they have the Hunger though, so they can sustain some damage and bring it back, although their unit count is only 45. We do have the mighty Gallows giant we spoke about slightly early on. Look at this beautiful beast of destruction and war. Going to bring in those flamethrowers to the forefront. I can certainly see him doing very good up against the Graveguard and chaff of the Vampire Counts. A very fun unit as well. For the leadership, we have a Mongol Haunter here. And Mongol Haunters look absolutely disgusting. Sorry to say that, buddy, but you do look gross as hell. Coming in with Deadly Onslaught as well as Foe Seeker, and the Hunger for that beautiful regeneration. It really does look ethereal. I mean, it causes terror and stuff, but unfortunately it is not ethereal at all. It's just the colour scheme. Leading the army is Count Noculus. He's looking fully determined today, charging forward with the Captain Roth's Moondial, Wraith Storm, as well as Invocation Heck and Raise Dead, or Drowned Dead in this case. So all the basic stuff you'd expect from him, but super cool build. For the forces here of the Vampire Counts, they have gone very wide, looking to swarm an enemy gun line, no doubt, though there is no gun line in sight. We have zombies dotted all the way through the front line, one of which is the Regiment of Renown. On the left-hand side, we have Crypt Ghouls, Skeleton Warriors, and more Skeleton Warriors. And in the back, even more skeletons, so just huge amounts of chaff with triple Graveguard, including the Sternsman, as a third battle line there. In fact, 4 units of Graveguard looking to drag down the opposition. We have 1 unit of Blood Knights on the right-hand side, going to be very key here, as they do have Anti-Large and Frenzy to try to drag down the heroes, the Gallows Giant, the Rotten Prometheans. Those are a lot of juicy targets for those knights. And up in the skies, we have the Devils of Schwarsthafen, a very fancy, cool-looking unit. I really like the colour scheme on these guys compared to the normal ones. They have a relatively decent armour piercing throughout, and I believe have Frenzy and Immune to Psychology. So yeah, really cool, fast-moving, hard hitters. For the leadership corps, it is a bizarre little trio here. We do have double Necromancer, one with Raised Dead, both with Raised Dead, one of which also has Gaze of Nagash. They both have the Forbidden Rod, so of course they're going to take some damage, but be able to give more Winds of Magic. And one of them, or both of them in fact, have Scroll of Shieldins. We have a Master Necromancer with Wand of Jet coming in. Once again, he has Raised Dead and Invocation of the Heck, as well as this really cool little Magical Animus is what we're going to go for. Extra leadership, so a rather cheap little core of spellcasters there. If you snipe one, they're still going to be able to get the spells out. Perhaps that was to try to counter a cheeky Air Force, which certainly wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities for the pirates to bring, but instead we have the glorious Gallows Giant Rush build today. It looks like he is going to be lining up his first shot, going down range, and looking to roast some scum. In fact, he does catch the Regiment Renowned zombies, already up to 33 kills with that first volley. We are seeing some zombie summons coming into the battle line, however, but another lovely little Wraith Storm actually hits the Master Necromancer, and he is a very, very squishy lord, so taking quite a pound in there already. Looks like the zombies in the front line not having a good day. 60 of them already have been dragged back to the murky depths from whence they came. And it looks like the skeleton warriors are now going to receive the second blessing of the Gallows giant. Zombie pirate deck mobs are getting really aggressive alongside Count Noculus as well as the Haunter here. Doing some really nice work just clearing through the chaff as quickly as possible. These poor skeleton warriors and zombies are really getting roasted quite badly. Down to about half health there with one glorious shot already. Over 150 kills. The Crabos waiting in the wings at the moment, looking for the opportune moment to engage, as the vampire counts are very slowly going to swarm around both sides. But that Gallows giant is a one-man wrecking ball right now, wasting skeleton warriors left, right, and centre. Just trying to clear out the chaff, already up to 200 kills in the early stages of this battle, ripping some shots into the crypticals as well. I love the Haunter, man. You don't get to see it terribly often, and it is really bounding around with gleeful joy, like a puppy who doesn't understand how to walk properly yet. It's kind of just bounding around, having a good time, destroying all this chaff. But remember, a lot of this stuff is very, very cheap. The heavy hitters are going to come in the form of the Blood Knights, as well as the Devils and the Grave Guard, who are only now just moving in. This unit of Rotten Prometheans has been isolated out on this flank, and it looks like the Blood Knights are well aware of this, going to come in for that rear attack on the Rotten Prometheans. Should be able to do some fantastic damage against them if the pole arms are kept away, and it looks like they probably will be because they're being overwhelmed and swarmed. So good play, but patient play by the Vampire Count player to isolate certain pockets and then just delete this one on the right hand side. I'd even take the Devils over there and really try to pound it down as quickly as possible. Gallows giant up to 370 kills. He's engaged in combat now, but he still will use his flaming attacks to try to dish out the damage. And he's been rather well protected at the moment by the Haunter, who's doing some really good jobs here. And it looks like one unit of Grave Guard, or Skeleton Warriors, sorry, are going to be completely destroyed. Zombie pirate deckhand polearms are facing zombies, but eventually being dragged down here. Necromancers are quite happy just dancing in the back at the moment, and the bloody Reavers have saturated themselves on top of the Lamprey's Revenge. This is a perfect combo right now, and they're just ripping and tearing, slaughtering a lot of the kind of chaff here that the Vampire Counts have chucked at them. But that overload is coming in. The Devils have landed. The Blood Knights have Scroll of Shielding on them. Rotten Prometheans are not doing too well now. They're feeling a little bit queasy themselves. The Blood Knights getting in there and dishing out some glorious work there. They really are crumping the Prometheans, who are getting healed up by an Invocation of the Heck. Unfortunately, they're crumbling at the same time, and I don't think that Invocation is going to be enough to save them there. It looks like zombies are slowly overwhelming more zombies in the front line, and the Gallows giant up to 412 kills, just roasting its way through this infantry, and it's fighting in melee, so it's not actually using up its ammunition right now. It doesn't do as much damage when in that melee mode though, so if it does get the opportunity to kind of move wide a little bit and really start ripping some shots down the flank, we could see some disgusting levels of kills on that bad boy. Likewise though, the Mongol Hunter is also up to over 100 kills, and some good work in its absolute flustercluck of a central core. Graveguard and zombies are really trying their best, but they're simply being overwhelmed. If they can, however, kill all the chaff of the Vampirates, then the Devils and the Blood Knights might be able to kill basically everything here. Count Noculus will be a tricky devil indeed, though. Blood Knights are taking their time getting rid of the Rotten Prometheans, but at the same time, they're getting the job done eventually, and they're only really been supported by zombies and some Sternsmen. The Devils of Schwarzhafen are very healthy up in the sky. Probably want to float over here and deal with the Gallows Giant, I would say. They can do some really nice armor-piercing attacks on the charge, but instead, finishing off the Rotten Prometheans that little bit quicker certainly can be quite helpful. You can see the Necromancers are using their Forbidden Rods there to improve the power recharge rate and the power reserves there. Really want to get as many invocations and zombie summons as possible, it would seem. And a lot of the chaff is gone now. We have some bloody Reavers in the middle, alongside Count Noculus, the Lamprey's Revenge, Mongol Haunter, and the Gallows Giant, and that is about it. There's a little summon off to the side, but that won't be around for very long. Unfortunately, some zombies are crumbling in the back here, and in flood, the Devils of Schlosshafen looking to hunt down some of these key juicy targets. Blood Knights certainly want to get engaged as well as often as possible, but keeping them out of the fight for a little while isn't terrible if you are saving up to heal them where possible. We are going to see it looks like a summon of zombie pirate deckhand mobs are being birthed into the world, as well as some zombies here just going toe to toe, but there is still 90 Sternsmen and 90 Graveguard. That is a lot of elite troops to drag your way through. Gallows Giant up to 464 kills. Basically has all its ammunition left as well, bar 1 or 2 volleys. And it is just roasting the enemy at the moment. In swoop, the Devils of Frosthafen going after the Haunter, although it has popped Deadly Onslaught. And it is doing work right now. But mainly onto the Graveguard. The Devils of Frosthafen have been relatively lucky, not taking too many hits. And they're actually doing some fantastic damage now onto the Haunter. They definitely want to be peeling off, though, and then charging it back in over and over again, because otherwise this Haunter is going to be able to beat them in sustained combat. Blood Knights are bouncing between combats, just clearing out the chaff and hunting down the Lamprey's Revenge where possible. Bloody Reavers are a big problem. Over 400 kills so far. They've popped in range. They're taking very little damage at the moment. And not having a heavy hitting Lord is really been quite a big problem for the Vampire counts right now. If this is a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and they just had the small casters, he could be cycle charging Helm of Discord and all that good stuff, but that is the price you pay for trying to go as wide as possible. Definitely expecting more of a defensive gunline approach here. Devils of Frosthafen doing some good work though. They're cycling down on the Gallows Giant. Camp Noctis is nearby, and every time they land, that Haunter is hunting them down. It is really beelining for them, doing some little boogie moves there as well before coming in with the old slam dunk to try to drag down the enemy. This other unit of Lamprey's Revenge though, the other Crabos who are still living, the Blood Knights have found a home now amongst them and are really starting to do some massive damage. The Bloody Reavers are getting near their healing cap, but are continuing to fight at the moment to the death, as is their style. And the Gallows Giant just does not give a damn right now. It's nearly 500 kills, still surrounded by chaff, but a lot of what remains is elite troops in the form of Graveguard and Blood Knights, who do currently have a Scroll of Shielding on them, trying to overwhelm the Bloody Reavers as well as the Lamprey's Revenge. Devils are nearly spent, unfortunately, up in the sky. Really cool unit, but they are crumbling to naught but dust at the moment. Camp Noctis is very healthy, and the Mongol Hunter, up to 183 kills, is going to want to start slamming down this infantry, or even countercharging the Blood Knights. Just chuck everything in them to try to kill them, because an upgraded Invocation Heck has gone down. At least it looked like it had gone down. Oh no, it had gone down instead for the Vampirates. I thought that was for the Vampire counts there. And the Bloody Reavers are getting healed up, which is certainly good for them. The Gallows Giant is actually taking quite a pounding though. Now, those Devils have been a big pain in the butt, but they have finally dealt with. The triple Necromancer Corps just laughing, having a good time, kind of staying on the periphery of the battle, having a bit of a picnic and just watching the carnage unfold. Certainly wanting to escape Camp Noctis, and they've done just that. Blood Knights really need to be in and out as much as possible, though, getting that charge bonus and taking down the Lamprey's Revenge. We do have a summon of zombies going down, and the Bloody Reavers are up to over 500 kills, just trying to drag their way through chaff. But they are slowly getting dragged down here. The Gallows Giant up to 532, actually being caught up now by the Devils. The characters, though they are spellcasters, are still characters at the end of the day, and pretty much all characters can at least pack a bit of a punch. Going after the Gallows Giant, trying to drag down the colossal war machine of destruction. The Lamprey's Revenge doing a solid job though, holding the line, grinding it out, and that is what you would expect here in this match. It's an absolute grind fest, and that is what we have. Blood Knights once again charging into the fray, trying to dish out to the damage. They are taking a pounding themselves, up to 71 kills. Invocation Heck has gone down on them, and the Gallows Giant is now really feeling the wrath of the vampires. I don't know if it's going to be around that much longer, but it has done a fantastic job so far. Likewise, the Mongol Haunter, been very impressed with him. He is slapping his way through a bucket ton of Graveguard at the moment. He is getting relatively near his healing cap, though. Likewise is the Lamprey's Revenge. And it looks like the Master Necromancer has been caught out here and is getting ripped a new one. Slapped left and right. Master Necromancer may indeed die. It looks like he has managed to pop a zombie summon to try to protect himself and get out of there as fast as possible. But he has been hunted down by the Haunter. It's actually quite a decent character assassin, I find, but at the same time can work its way through a decent amount of chaff. Through the fire and the flames, the Master Necromancer does ride, and he should be able to escape and get out of there, at least for now. Gallows Giant down to just 722 HP. I don't want this majestic beast to fall, but it looks like it may do in the end. Master Necromancer coming in to try to get the final kill, and the other Necromancer's getting very low. Lamprey's Revenge starting to rock. The Bloody Reaver Depth Guards, 543 kills, 544 there. Going to be getting ground down, though, to just haste, only 4 models left. And it is looking rather good, though, I think, for the Vampires, due to how low the Blood Knights are. Only 8 models left. But they're very near their healing cap, which is a big problem. And the Crabos are just surviving. Only 8 crabs left, the Mongol Haunter and Count Noculus, but Count Noculus can grind for ages. Maybe the Sternsman and the Graveguard combined would be able to drag him down here, but I don't think so alongside the Lamprey's Revenge plus the Mongol Haunter. They're simply going to be too good at clearing out the chaff. And it looks like the Master Necromancer may try to live for another day. No, he is going to be crumbling now, and his bones shall be feasted upon by the Haunter. And down he goes in a bit of a slump, and losing your Lord for an undead faction is always a tough blow, particularly I find for the Vampire Counts, and that is indeed going to be game with the last of the Blood Knights dying, unfortunately not in glory, actually getting shot in the back of the dome, I think, by one of the Lamprey's Revenge, and now it is just a matter of cleaning their way through the Sternsman, which will take a little while perhaps, but not if army losses sets in. And they still have 68 models, and of course that regeneration. It looks like the Lamprey's Revenge may go down though. They are minus 18 leadership right now and crumbling, which would just leave the Hero and Lord core. But the Mongol Haunter is going to be so good up against all the Graveguard here, and he's really on the prowl for this Necromancer. Well played to the Vampire Count player though for scrapping this one out to the death. Maybe there's a chance? I mean, Lamprey's Revenge again, very danger low, down to 600 HP, and it is dropping rapidly at the moment. Sternsman with 60 models left and that regeneration. Looks like they are going after Count Noculus. The Necromancer is desperately trying to escape right now, but does slap a Lamprey's Revenge on the way. Needs to be careful not to be pinned in place. Luckily, though, the Haunter overextended with its attack animation and actually missed the Necromancer quite a bit there. It looks like Lamprey's Revenge is nearly done for. They're so sticky. They love to hang around for absolute age. Down, though, just to the 1 model. So, yeah, not going to last much longer whatsoever. And we still have 34 Graveguard here. We have 59 Sternsmen who could be healed up as well. We only have Raised Dead on this Necromancer. No indication of the heck, which is certainly not good news. Down the Lampreys go, but the Graveguard do start to crumble here. I think they've got a feeling in their non-existent stomach that, kind of a sinking feeling that it's not going to go too well for them. Mongol Hunter is just, look at him go. He is so happy to be out and about. They're going to see him terribly often in multiplayer. He's even started to possess the skull of a crab to try to give himself more power. And that is going to be game to the Vampires with only 2 models remaining in this battle. An absolute insane one. An awesome victory. A Pyrrhic victory, though, nonetheless. And well played to Bajark there and Bode Il Boba. Both had some really awesome games from these guys, I think, before in the past. Definitely Bode Boba. He was actually in my Warhammer Championships group. I think twice, actually. We ended up in the same group. Really top-tier, talented player as well. And I thought this was a fun game in what is quite an interesting matchup. You don't often get to see Undead versus Undead, but we got to see it here today. And boy, oh boy, was that an absolute scrap. The Bloody Deck Reavers, the Bloody Reaver deck, sorry, as well as the Lamprey's Revenge and the Gallows Giant were all trying to outscore each other. I can already predict they've got some insane damage dealt and damage value, and we'll hop into that in a second and see which unit did indeed perform the best. But before we get there, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a thumbs up under this video, subscribe for more Warhammer content if you haven't already, as well as comment down below what you thought of the battle. What did you think of this legendary build from the Vampire Coast, and a really interesting triple Necromancer build from Bajark as well? I thought it was a really fun game, quite a unique one as well, so hopefully you guys did enjoy. I really do indeed enjoy reading all the comments down below. It's really nice to know people are enjoying what's happening, and yeah, feel free just to yell quack, comment on your game, what was your MVP, favourite moment, and what do you think of this matchup as a whole? I think it can be got the potential for players to get quite creative and have some good fun. There are links down below in the description. If you would like to support the channel, you can. I do indeed have a Patreon account, as well as a link down below to my Discord, where you can submit replays, just like Bode did today. You can get involved in tournaments, live streams, and events that I host. Keep up to date with the channel and hone your skills. We have a big bubbling community of like 700 people or something, so they can, lots of new players, lots of experienced players, whatever you fancy playing against, we've got a load of people there. But onto the damage dealt, damage value. We're actually going to do this in reverse because I simply cannot wait to check out the Gallows Giant. 561 kills. He certainly won the killing contest today. 2,853 damage dealt, over 46,000 damage dealt, sorry, and 2,853 damage value. 561 kills. Unfortunately, didn't really manage to use up many of its range attacks, which is actually where it tends to dish out more damage. It was in combat a lot of the time. It still does do the flamethrower, but it's not quite the same. But still, very good play here with the Gallows Giant, just helping to clear and grind through the chaff, which then allowed the Haunter, the Depth Guard, and so forth to shine a bit more. Lamprey's Revenge did get more damage value, 3,041. Less kills though, 316, over 41,000 damage dealt. Very impressive display. The other unit of Crabos, 1,000 damage value is really not shabby. It did eventually get shut down by the Blood Knights and isolated a little bit, but in the end it didn't really matter. The Bloody Reaver Deck Guard, 1,171 damage value, so not that much to be honest, in comparison to some of the other heavy hitting units, but still over 38,000 damage dealt and 546 kills. Normally these guys are like elite anti-large troops, but instead today, no, we're just going to clear through all of the chaff. Zombie Pirate Deck Mob somehow got 165 kills, but yeah, none of these guys are going to get any damage value basically, but that's not what they were here for. They were the chaff to blockade in the enemy. The Mongol Haunter did amazing, 3,012 damage value, 277 kills, and over 23,000 damage dealt, nearly 24 in fact. Count Not Close was a bit of a raid boss as well, just untouched in the later stages of the game. 184 kills, over 16k damage dealt, and 1,711 damage value. Really cool build, which certainly brought the pain. Vampire Counts went for a 20 stack, certainly I think planning to overwhelm a gun line, which unfortunately didn't exist. The Master Necromancer only 294 damage value, 520 and 566 on his little pupils here. We've got the Sith Lord and the Sith Apprentices, but again their value really was in the Scroll of Shieldings and the Invocation Hex, Raise Dead and all of that. And there certainly was some good summons here today. Zombies were born to die, and they did that with gusto. The skeletons across the board got not the best damage value. This unit, though, getting 69 kills, so hats off to you, lads. Crypt Ghouls getting roasted before they even got in the action. Graveguard fared a bit better, 578 damage value, 1,259, 745, and 1,844 damage value for the Sternsmen, clearing their way through a decent amount of chaff and hacking apart some of the more elite warriors with a 41, 145, 77, and 64 kills apiece. Blood Knights did really good work. I still think they should have been slightly more aggressive, but they certainly did perform really well. 77 kills, over 3,000 damage dealt, and over 17k... Oh no, 3,000 damage value. I keep saying that today. And over 17k damage dealt. Really solid work there from the Blood Knights. I was quite impressed as well with the Devils of Schwarzhafen. 1,461 damage value. Not too shabby whatsoever, using their mobility to hunt down and isolate key targets like the Gallows Giant, as well as some of those Crabos in the early stages of the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a really good fun one to cast. And until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.